This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Hello and welcome to episode 28 of Too Old to Game. I'm your fear-filled host, Dave Oster. I'm joined today by the original man-child himself, Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
Mark Weber, unable to join us again, but we will stride on without him. We're just going to keep this thing trucking.
That means you lied last week. Because last week you're like, we'll catch him next time.
We'll catch him. We'll catch him on next time. The next time he's on, we'll catch him.
We'll catch him.
Yeah. If you don't know, this is the gaming podcast of Most Valuable Podcasts. We talk gaming news, we give feedback, we kind of hit the community a little bit. If you want to check us out, make sure to check us out on iTunes. Every little bit helps if you could review us, rate us, and it matters a lot. It means a lot to me, it means a lot to Ricky, it means a lot to Mark, even though he's not here today. I know his feelings on the topic. But today we're going to talk about Fortnite. We're going to talk about EA murdering Star Wars as we all know it. And we're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 release date as it is quickly approaching. So let's get into it, Ricky.
Before that,
we're not getting into it.
Well, with the iTunes thing, I forgot because you kicked it in my head. I have to throw out a special throw out to Ugly Day. Ugly D-A-E. So it's Dave without the E or Dave without the V.
Could be
5-star rating on Too Old to Game. You guys are my favorite is the title, and it says best podcast.
You're my favorite, Ugly Day. I'll say it.
So I had to throw it out. In my head, you're talking about iTunes, and I was like, wait, I was like, oh, wait, we did get a review. So that was our first review for Too Old to Game.
That's absolutely baller. You're forever going to be in my heart, man. Man or woman, I don't bear to make assumptions.
It's close to Ugly Dave, just no V.
It could be Ugly Dave, like that's me. So maybe that's taken. Maybe that's why he had to drop the V.
Maybe.
So, Fortnite, eh? Kind of a popular game, some people say.
We got to get the annual Fortnite in,
yeah,
right?
we kind of skipped out on the World of Warcraft for a couple weeks. But Fortnite, at least, will get another mention this week, as they have crushed it in 2018. Fortnite earned $2.4 billion in 2018. Now, that number is a stupid number just on its own, but it is the number one most profitable video game of the year. That's really hard for me to say out loud, but that is the way it was written. I'm reading this article on Complex, and basically they're running through and talking about, all these games made a lot of money. Yes, Player Battlegrounds unknown, a little over $1 billion. FIFA, because they split their titles between 18 and 19 due to release cycle, it was like $790 million and then another $482. So they did really well for themselves, as FIFA always does, putting out a quality game. But the interesting thing that came around right at the same time was actually Netflix talking about Fortnite is actually our competition. And it's something that kind of got me thinking. I was like, wait. No. Fortnite's not your competition. Fortnite's a video game. You guys do a streaming service. Like, you're not anywhere close to the same league. But Netflix basically came back and talked about this and saying, what we're looking at is overall screen time. If you have a mobile device or a TV, what's on it? That's what matters to us. And as it turns out, the answer is Fortnite more often than not. They're like, no, HBO, they're another streaming service. Not worried about them. Fortnite, killing it across the board. And it's interesting to think of them as an enemy or a level of competition. And with how quickly Fortnite ballooned, Ricky, do you think that this is something where, Fortnite is going to be able to sustain this rate for this next year?
Well, here's the first thing. Like, you say it's surprising, and there's a part of me that goes, no, it's not super surprising, because although we want to put everything in its own little bubble, Netflix and watching streams are over here. Oh, if you're a gamer, you're over here with all your games.
Everybody watches Netflix, though.
But the thing that I look at is, like what you said, screen time. So, like, if I'm Netflix, anything that can take up your attention on that screen is a competition to me, because I want you on that screen time. Now, the thing where this hurts but doesn't hurt is the thing that this hurts is like, oh, you look at the Marvel series, like, oh, this didn't get as many subscribers. Maybe a bad example to use Marvel. I'll just use any new show. Oh, this new show or this show we have isn't getting the amount of views that we want. Hey, let's get rid of it. Like, that's where it plays into hand. Where it plays in with money.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many people, though, that just because you play Fortnite doesn't mean you don't have Netflix. So every month, if you do, Netflix is still getting their money. To me, I wonder, as the new generation grows up, because let's be honest, Fortnite to me, yes, it brands or it ranges all age classes.
Yes, it's every age group.
But it is, like, if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of younger children and a lot of younger people that play Fortnite. As they grow up, what is that going to mean for Netflix? Which Netflix could be heading more with an older demographic, and if Fortnite's already getting them sooner, then they're going to hopefully
24. They estimate about 63% of their players.
Okay.
So not, we all joke about, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds playing Fortnite, and the average age, because we joke around about like Ninja's audience age, on Twitch.
But I mean,
that's
some of those could just be parent accounts that they make for kids.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, I'm 16, I can't be 18. Like, how many times did we do something where it's like, oh, I'm 16 or I'm 14, I'm going to say I'm 18?
I refuse to answer that question because I know what it's for.
But I mean, that's what I look at too, where even like those data isn't 100. Like, it's a ballpark. Yeah. And the thing I wonder is the younger demographic. Mm-hmm. Are they going to be grabbed by Fortnite to where even if Fortnite dies out one day, are they going to be grabbed by it to where they're going to not look to Netflix for that screen time, but the next game to take their screen time, which does not help Netflix?
It's true. But I mean, I don't think we've ever seen a game like Fortnite take over on this scale. I know, we always give shit to mobile gaming in the past. It was underrepresented, I should say, and undervalued. And when we start thinking about how Pokemon Go was a universal thing for about a month, maybe 2 months, where everyone who had a cell phone played Pokemon Go. And I mean everyone, any age, like all ages. It's still got a strong community, but it's no longer that worldwide event. And where Fortnite basically is a year-long event at this point. We've hit that year and we've eclipsed it. And now, I don't know that there's going to be another game that can take over. Like, I'm not sure what that game is yet. I do think there is another game out there that will be built, that will be produced, that will take over at the same level as Fortnite. So I agree with you on it could be another game, but I think that the media consumption is still going to be there. Like, there's no way that Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, all of these things are still necessary. Not necessary. They're not necessary, but they're all in demand by people in, anyone from young adult to old, because it's just when you want to watch any sort of TV show, movie, any visual media, like the streaming services are still the go-to thing, and they're only growing at this point.
Yeah.
Everybody's cable cutting, so I look to see that share for Netflix increase, actually. So that's why I wonder if we're going to see them kind of battle it out.
And it's interesting how, like, what you said at the beginning, though. Like, we're not talking about Fortnite isn't taking necessarily dollars away. They're just saying, oh, they're our biggest competitor for screen time. And the quote that I find interesting from the Polygon article is they say, when YouTube went down globally for a few minutes in October, our viewing and signups spiked for that time, which is interesting to me because it's like it was just a few minutes. Like, people couldn't be like,
on demand is on demand.
I get
we are
that.
impatient people,
and that's
Ricky.
The part that I do like snap back and go, oh, I get it. But then they continue and say Hulu is small compared to YouTube for viewing time.
Oh yeah,
and they are successful in the U.S. and non-existent in Canada, which creates a comparison point. Our penetration is in 2 countries is pretty similar to where, like, even that quote gets me thinking, well, if Netflix is only focusing on 2 countries, correct me if I'm wrong, Fortnite is almost globally. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Where it's like, someone in London could be playing, someone in Australia could be playing Fortnite, someone in the US could be playing Fortnite, to where the reach or the it being worldwide has a much farther kind of a spread compared to Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, that's at the end of the day, I think the gaming route will win out because of that. And I think that Fortnite, because of their seasonal releases and decisions to continually change up the gameplay and add new features that players, are demanding, or don't even know they want, but when it goes live, like, oh man, that was a great move by
Like
them.
you asked the question, will Fortnite or when the question comes up, will Fortnite ever die? I refuse to answer that question because
When they stop when they don't want to make money.
I don't know. Like because my brain is at a crossroads with that because everything in my life has taught me that eventually things come to an end. Like eventually you hit a crossroads or the culture hits a crossroads where we branch off into the next thing. But so far from what I've seen, it's like this game looks like it's got no signs of stopping.
It's so hard, and yet it's still growing. And that's one of the crazy things. Like, World of Warcraft was, in my mind, like, that game was the spike event of my childhood. It was the, like
we lived that
everybody
spike.
goes there. It went from 1 million to 6 million to 7 million, all the way up. I think they peaked around 14 million. Someone can spot check me on that one. In their prime, and since then they've tipped back down to like 11, 10, went sub 10, stopped releasing numbers, and now it feels like the game, and I know nothing's ever going to kill WoW, but that's a game where we get a yearly every other year release, basically every 3-year release. They continually add content to the game, whether it is new raids, new entire continents, new classes, and that's a game and that's a model that like. It's worked, and the game's been around for 14 years now, going on 15 years of World of Warcraft. And 14, 06, I think. Somewhere in that range. 04, 06. I'm bad with numbers today.
Yeah, because I'm looking here. I think this is correct. In 2015, WoW was at 5.5 million.
That's like terrible.
And this was projected. They projected to go up in 16, but then all the projections after this, because this was written in 2015-ish, is just down all the way till when the graph ends at 2023.
Yeah, no, they bounced so hard above that. They hit. I think they made it all the way back up to 10 million. But now they're back down somewhere between I think 8 and 6. But no, I mean that's the thing is like that's a game that had everyone's attention and has been a long running paid for service where Fortnite doesn't cost you money to continually play, but there's stuff in the game that makes you want to give them money to continue either in-game stuff or that's your way to support the producers, the game devs, whatever case it is. So I think Fortnite's got the future market. I think they've got the market share. They've got everybody's attention, and they've got the right business model in place for right now. If somehow we adapt and say, hey, business laws are saying that we're not going to be able to do microtransactions in games anymore. There's going to be a massive pivot in the market space, but I think Fortnite is so big and so dynamic that they could adjust. I just don't see anything that can out juggernaut Fortnite for screen time. Even
if, like, let's say the loot box thing comes into effect and we can't do microtransactions.
I don't even say loot box, just microtransactions in general.
I think that is not linked to this discussion because the discussion is screen time. It's not.
Well, if you take away that,
buying this, it
takes away a lot of the things around the game.
At that point, it pivots what Epic wants to do with Fortnite because they wouldn't be able to sell. But like the thing I think of, and this is probably the biggest move that Fortnite did to compete with Netflix, is the thing about Netflix that was so great is at first it was DVDs. You had it, we delivered the DVDs, you send them back. When I signed on to Netflix, they were half and half. Where we had the streaming, but like I paid the $15 a month because there were movies that my sister wanted that were only, hey, we'll only send those to you. They're not streaming. Where now it's pretty much everything is streaming. And the big thing that was good is I can watch it on my PlayStation. I can watch it on my tablet. I can pick up my phone here and watch Netflix whenever I want it. What did Fortnite do?
We can do everything.
Not just that they're like, hey, we're not going to be fine with just being on the Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. We want to be on this phone as well. And when they moved over into mobile, that I think is the true thing that made them a competitor to Netflix because Netflix could always be like, well, you know what? They're either like, they could watch on that, but you know what? When they're on the go, we still got them with the phone.
Oh, absolutely. As a commuter.
Now Fortnite, I can put down, if I played Fortnite, I could put down it on my controller, go out and while I'm waiting, I'm going to boot it up on my phone and play on my phone while I'm waiting for class, while I'm waiting in here. Yep. Exactly. To where you can never stop playing if you want to.
And I think that's what everybody else, that's why, Activision's driving Blizzard into the ground, trying to build out a mobile gaming division, basically, to spin out properties, because they realize...
Pissing off one of their fan bases in the process.
Well, they're pissed off all of their fan bases. Yeah. But, it's the realization of, look, Fortnite did it. They're successful. They get it. Nobody else has gone after the market so aggressively for a cell phone, at least not that I'm aware of. I think that, for me, it just comes down to... Is there any way that something knocks off Fortnite from the most screen time? Can you imagine anything that could take people's attention away?
This is the question I told you I don't want to answer because I don't know, but eventually I want to say yes.
Do you think it's another video game? Do you think it's a streaming service? Do you think it's something... Do you think it's the move to VR? Do you think it's a future technology that gets people away from Fortnite? What will, and I don't want to say what's going to kill Fortnite, because I don't know that there ever will be a death to the game.
Honestly,
People still play fucking RuneScape. It's got its own community. I'm not going to argue video games don't die.
But something's going to pull enough people away.
But when will it no longer be the number one? Do you think it's a future technology? Do you think it's a different streaming service? Do you think it's a different game?
Let me ask you this.
Do you think it's just the game will get stale for people?
When it came to WoW, when was it, and this is not exact because like you said, how many years was it that WoW before it just started dropping off to where it's at now? Because you got to think with Fortnite, we're entering year 2. We're entering year 3. It started in 2017. 2019 will be year 3 of Fortnite. And let's say you put it at 5 years. That means Fortnite has this year and 2 other years to still be king. I don't know what it's going to be because, I don't know. I want to say, it's going to be another game, but it could be a streaming service. It could be VR. VR is one that I kind of want to, back, where it's oh, man, I really want VR to be cool, but I don't know when we're ever going to get to a place where VR is a staple.
Yeah, it's
in
affordable
households.
And practical, and it's smoothly polished to a point where everyone can kind of enjoy it without getting frustrated.
To me, I feel like Fortnite, and I don't mean this as a bad thing for Fortnite gamers, but right now Fortnite is like a fad to me. And I'm not saying that to where it's a negative connotation. We have things different fads that we follow. We're in the Fortnite era right now.
Yeah.
What's going to take us out of Fortnite? I really don't know. I don't think it's going to be a Netflix or anything. If I had to put my money on it, there's going to be some other game that after a few years hits and then people kind of shift over because, that's big and cool, and that is what my friends are playing.
Yeah. No, I tend to agree with you. And just to clarify the WoW numbers, when it launched, it was 2004. By Q1 of 2005, they had 1.5 million subs. At the end of, or at the start of Burning Crusade, which was 2006, Q3, they had roughly 7 million. They peaked in Wrath of the Lich King at actually, no, I take it back. Wrath of the Lich King ended at 11.5 mil. They hit 12 in Cataclysm launch. And then since then, it had dropped off from 10 to 9 to 8 to 7. Warlords of Draenor was a shit expansion. They dropped all the way to 5, and then they bounced back up since then. But point being, yes, that's a game that 2004 to 2019, they've gone from 1 to 12 to 5 to back up to that middle, in between 6 and 10 range again. So I'm just saying, numbers stick forever, and I don't know that Fortnite would ever die because it has that replayability to it. And I think that you're right. The future is
they're constantly changing it, too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They adapt to the needs of the people to keep things entertaining. So I'm with you. I don't think that there's a new technology that will hit. It's hard to foresee a future technology that will hit that will change the way, because you could adapt Fortnite for VR. Super easy.
But eventually there will, I do think there will be something.
I think it's going to be a new game
that pulls away the major part of it, the major populace away from Fortnite.
No, I agree. And I think that's we'll leave it on the note of the future will have to tell us,
I hope it does, Dave. I hope the future tells us.
All right. And moving right along into something that's very close to your heart, Kingdom Hearts news.
Next
We're getting
week?
so close.
Next or 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I'm sorry,
2 weeks,
2 weeks.
sir.
There's I say next week for anyone in Japan, because Japan gets it a week earlier than us.
Seriously?
Yeah, Japan gets it.
Could we go to Japan and import it here? Like, is that a thing?
Yeah, I think it's Japan gets it the 23rd.
How much for a flight to Japan and back? And can we smuggle a copy?
Yeah, the initial release date is the 25th. So Japan gets it next Friday, January 25th.
How come they get a Friday release and we get a fucking Tuesday release?
We get a Tuesday release.
I
Yeah.
hate Tuesday releases.
I would
As
love
an
a Friday.
adult,
I would love a Friday release. Give me the weekend to play the game.
Blizzard knows whenever they do stuff, they're like, hey, look, like the Diablo seasons, it was always Friday nights.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I didn't show up.
Didn't they used to do the WoW expansions on Tuesday nights?
I think they did. They did patching on Tuesdays. I don't know if the release dates were always Tuesdays. They might be. Tuesday seems like the release day, though. You're right.
I mean,
I think it's a standard, but
it's just like I would love for us to get them on Fridays. But yeah, the Kingdom Hearts news though that is coming out this week is so Kingdom Hearts is releasing the secret ending and the epilogue to their game in day 2 and day 3 patches. So you'll get the game day 1. If you beat it day 1, guess what? You got to come back night 2 to get the secret ending. Then you got to come back day 3 to get the epilogue, or vice versa. I would think the epilogue would come before the secret ending, but who knows? And the question that was asked, where I'm getting this from, is this the next stage of day 1 / launch window passes releasing the ending, where it's like, hey, we know some of you are going to try to beat this game all the way in day 1.
Yeah.
We want to make sure you come back day 2, day 3.
I don't think you can beat Kingdom Hearts in one day.
Don't challenge people, Dave, because they'll do it.
I'm going to watch. I'm going to be on watching some streamer from Japan
try to beat
play
it.
Kingdom Hearts day 1, technically negative day 4 for us or whatever it is. I'm absolutely going to watch it. But I don't know that you can. I mean, for a game like that, I think it's unrealistic to say you can beat the game within 24 hours. Maybe it is. I mean, how long are playthroughs for Kingdom Hearts 2
remember. It's been so
and
many,
1
it's been
or
so many
1.5?
years, Dave.
Okay.
It's been so many years. But if it's a game like Red Dead, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't one night that game.
That's what I'm thinking. Is like day 1 is like, all right, we're stress testing things. You're gonna find all the quick and easy bug patches. We can roll out fixes, no problem. And then we'll give you the content that we know is good. You know, we just want to make sure that we don't kill you up front. So I'm cool with it. I think that for that type of game, it's okay. If it was a shorter game, I would be very worried. Yeah. Very worried, because that's withholding content from me. And I'm like, look, I don't care. I'm still getting it for free, and that's fine. But like, why don't I get my whole shit up front?
See, I mean, I wouldn't be upset. Like, with what I just read, I wouldn't be upset with that, because technically an epilogue and a secret ending, you could technically say that's bonus material, where an epilogue, you've already beat the game. We gave you the entire story. We're not holding anything, but here's the epilogue. Here's what's happening after the ending. And then the next time, here's the secret ending. The thing I look at is they say day 2, day 3. With me, and this is all about, yet again, what kind of a game it is. Yeah. Maybe this doesn't work for Kingdom Hearts, but like for a Red Dead, it does, because they kind of did this with the online beta. All right, I'm going to let you do the game. A week or 2 later, here's the epilogue. All right, a week or 2 after that, here's the secret ending. So you're playing the game, and then you beat it, and then, okay, here it is a week later. Here's this a week later. They kind of give you some time, because as I've grown up, I've gone away from the, oh my God, I have to beat this as soon as possible. When I pop in a game, now I'm at the point, maybe it's just because of what gaming is, it's an experience to me. Yeah. It's kind of like I saw online, there were people that were upset with the term roll credits for a video game. Like when you get to the end, roll credits. But it's like, that's where we're at. They are experiences. They are like movies now. Oh, absolutely. At this point.
So much time and work goes into them, and you just enjoy.
It's not like back in the NES days where it was like, beat this game, and then you moved on, where it was like, this is like, you actually tell me a story and I'm invested in it.
I think that's absolutely fair to say. The thing that kind of bugs me is and again, we kind of talk about different genres of games for this. Just off the bat, like, why don't you just call it DLC? I feel better if you just call it DLC.
Like Spider-Man?
Yep. Like, if you had Spider-Man, could you beat Spider-Man in 24 hours?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
I wouldn't
how
say
would you feel?
exactly 24, but maybe a little more than 24. But it didn't seem like a super long game.
Like a game like that where it is, and I'm not talking about platinuming the game. I'm talking about storyline straight through. I think it was about 18 to 20 hours, right?
Let's see. I'm looking at the Screen Rant article. Yes, you could. Approximately 20 hours to beat the story.
So there you go.
So just under.
And I know we sound like uber nerds arguing over the fact that I don't have all my content within 4 hours.
Yeah.
You know? But the point still stands, like, if you have additional content for a game, release it as a DLC. Make it think. Why the, like, I'm struggling to understand the, like, day 2, day 3. Like, what's the point of that? If it wasn't ready for launch day, that's fine, and I understand.
Good point. You brought up launch day.
Take it with you. I'll see it in a month.
Man. What if?
Give me a DLC. I'll feel better if you call it a DLC. Don't charge me for it, but I'll feel better.
What if they weren't ready to release that, and that's why they're doing that?
We're talking about a one-day difference.
I know,
like,
and that's where
way.
it kind of
that's why it bugs me.
Confuses me. I honestly love the model. Like, I feel like the model that Spider-Man did could fit for Kingdom Hearts, where it's like, here you go. Day 1, you get the entire story. You get everything in the game.
Yep.
Then what we are going to do, and I know with Spider-Man, they have the suit thing.
Yeah.
You could do this with Kingdom Hearts easily. All right, what we are going to do is we have 3 new stories that Sora has to do that are going to be considered the epilogue. So it happens after the end of the game, but it's carrying over effect. And what if they did like, hey, in these epilogues, we've got 3 new worlds that you're going to go to.
Would they drop new planets like that?
You could
infinitely do that.
That could
for
be
Kingdom
like
Hearts 3.
Your new skins, and with that come new keyblades as well. You get new keyblades with
which
these
means
worlds.
Merch.
Exactly.
Which means sales.
Exactly. And that's what I feel like Kingdom Hearts should be looking to that model of, hey, you know what? Let's give them the game.
And it's
then
let's come up with sustainable model.
3 DLCs that kind of like the same pattern that Spider-Man did. But the thing I love the most about the Spider-Man thing, they did the 3 DLCs, and they went, all right, we're done. Give us a break. We're gonna take a while to enjoy this, and then we're gonna get started on game 2 for you.
But I'm afraid if Kingdom Hearts does it, we're never getting a Kingdom Hearts 4.
I know.
Don't stop.
The thing.
Stay in the dev. Like, I'm gonna lock the devs in their studios. Just keep feeding them, keep paying them.
The ball and chain like on their foot. Like
I don't want them.
The chain is connected to the desk, which is where the computer is.
If they go, where's Kingdom Hearts 4 gonna happen? Never.
Who knows? Maybe the story ends with this is the end of Sora's story. We don't know. We don't know what the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 is unless someone out there does. Don't tell me in the comment section.
Seriously,
I want to experience on my own.
So no, I think that's one of those things where it's like, I think they could absolutely make Boku Bucks and they could keep it going for a little bit longer. If they chose that out. If they're just doing a, like, here it is on release day and we're just going to tidy things up if there's any problems going forward, I'd respect it, but I'd want more. I want more. At this point in gaming, I don't think it's acceptable to just launch a game and call it quits. Yeah. Like that. I honestly, I'm trying to think of a game that has done that recently, and I don't think there is. I think the expectation going forward is, you release a game, you have your game, then you have additional content that comes out over time, and keep the game rolling. Like, why stop? If it's going to be profitable, why stop?
I mean, it's like you mentioned, it kind of pissed you off, and I have not jumped into it yet, is like Red Dead Online. Yeah. And why it's still a beta, and they're going to keep it in beta for a while.
Gimmick, it's like dumb, kill it.
Like, I'm just sitting there like, why? Like, I haven't finished the story yet. Yeah. I've just started Chapter 6, so I'm almost to the end, but it's just like, and it's funny because I say almost. The thing I've heard about Chapter 6 is that there's going to be like 3 separate points where I go, oh, I'm at the end. Oh, wait, no, I'm not at the end. Oh, I'm at the end. Oh, wait, no, I'm not at the end. Like, I am preparing myself for that. And it's just like, even with Red Dead Online, like they come out with the Red Dead Battle Royale. And it's like, okay, like why?
They're trying to keep it relevant.
Exactly.
Give you a reason to come back. After you dropped, what?
Game is so long anyways.
40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours on the game. And they're giving you a reason to come back and play again. And look, that's one of those games where you're either going to like fall in love with it and you get fully immersed, or you're like, I'm unmotivated to play this game, but I'm going to trudge through it.
Yeah.
And like you've been through both of those phases, I think, right?
Well, early on I was in the trudge through phase because I think it was because I didn't play Red Dead 1.
Yeah.
And the story for me, it didn't capture me right away. Because I was learning characters that I would probably already know if I played the first one, and I didn't really, the controls were new to me. And now at this point, like how I mentioned to you early on, I'm like, man, I cannot hunt to save my life. Now I've mastered the auto aim so well to where it's like, oh, I just released the L trigger, to where now with a gun I can go pop 1, pop 2, pop 3, pop 4, and it's like super easy.
It's easy to trigger between them, yeah.
And now I'm at the point where it's like, I want to stop and help someone, even if they may rob me. Today I had a example of, so this is later in the game, the Manfred brothers or whatever they're called, like one of the last gangs you meet in the game, and they, like 6 of them stop me on my horse. And I'm like, oh, is this a cutscene? Can I do anything? And I pull up the wheel and I go, oh, I can choose a gun.
It's live.
And I pulled out my pistol, aimed it manually, and just capped the guy in the face and then ran away from the other one. So I'm like, no, you're not going to rob me. Like, this is not going to happen. Where earlier on, it was like, oh, fuck, I'm getting robbed kind of a thing. But no, I've enjoyed the game, and actually trying to go for the platinum, since that has forced me to do other things besides the main story. It's kind of forced me to explore, and actually in the end of it, I like that part of it because, I mean, it's an exploratory game. The only
Good on you for not being a jerk.
The only things I've heard that is kind of a complaint, and good thing I didn't come to this mission, is one of the podcasts I was listening to, the guy goes, there's literally a mission where all you do is follow a guy on horseback while he picks tobacco.
Yeah.
And he's like, do I need to do this? Like, is this a mission I need to do? Like, I have to follow a guy on horseback and not do anything?
It's true.
So, like, that I can understand, but I didn't get to that mission. I didn't even find it with where everything it is. So there's my Red Dead kind of off track, a little aside that
it's fun. I asked, but again, it's just the whole, like, hey, do you want to know this thing? So, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3.
I can't wait.
We'll see how it goes.
I got to beat Red Dead this weekend or this next week so I can have it done before Kingdom Hearts.
Pre-order Kingdom Hearts on PS4, I believe. I'm trying to find out where.
Digitally.
You get a $10 Amazon credit.
Digitally? Or
I'm looking.
Okay.
I am looking, sir.
Because you know how I feel about digital games.
No.
I'm not a huge digital guy.
Yeah, I think that pre-order it from Amazon.
Okay.
They'll ship it. They'll do the day early thing like they always do. And you get a $10 credit.
Yeah,
you'll be able to use that anything on Amazon. That's pretty nice.
When I pre-ordered my Spider-Man PS Pro from Best Buy, I had no problem with it. I actually got it a day early.
That's the
which
standard.
was awesome.
That is standard. They try to do that intentionally. Anthem is a $10 Walmart gift card if you buy from Walmart. I'm just gonna mention Anthem. I played Anthem
because that's February.
I'm hyped.
Damn.
Not only is it February, but we're not talking about this today, but. They did talk about how they're doing their, open beta basically.
Yeah,
you give your own access.
You mentioned it last week.
So I think February 1st. It's early February. They're giving the open.
Yeah.
I think it'll be for a week. The details are still kind of being leaked out.
Are you gonna want us to sign up for it?
Oh my God, yes. Y'all best.
Well, hey, you make me do it. I'll do it, Dave.
Yep. And we'll get there someday. But the release date for that, of course, is the 22nd of February. So we got time. And you know why that's great?
Why?
Because that's my payday.
Okay.
That's my payday.
I was like, why? Because it gives me maybe enough time to beat Kingdom Hearts 3 before Anthem comes
I hope
out.
so.
You know what game I feel sorry for?
What?
Mega Man 11.
Ooh.
You want to know why?
Back of the shelf.
So when I bought my 3 games, when I bought God of War, I went in for Assassin's Creed, came out with Assassin's Creed, the Gold Edition, God of War, and Mega Man 11.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm going to get to all 3 of these. I beat Spider-Man first. I wasn't done with that. Beat Assassin's Creed, platinum that. Beat God of War, platinumed that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, shoot, I got to play Red Dead still. I'm still in the process of that. Mega Man 11's just sitting there. Hasn't been opened. Yep. Kingdom Hearts now going to come out. That's probably going to take my time after Red Dead, and then Anthem comes out after that.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder when I'm going to get to Mega Man 11 because I haven't gotten to it
There'll be a
yet.
dead spot for games at some point before Vanilla WoW.
Okay. Dave's like, I'm just throwing that out there.
You have till Vanilla WoW. But
we're going to go Dead Mines hardcore.
Son, you have no idea. You have no idea. It's gonna be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But our final topic of the day is EA crushing us once again, just killing the spirits.
Mm-hmm.
They are nixing off their in early development game for Star Wars, an open world experience.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, this is not a surprise to a lot of people. This is the second time that this same game basically has been canceled by EA. The first time it was under a different group.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to make it a different gameplay style that was canceled, and then that was pretty much like the scraps of this will live on in your new game. It'll be an open world Star Wars game, and now that's been canceled. And we'll see if the scraps of this make its way over to another game for Star Wars. It's just a little frustrating when you see a property as legendary as Star Wars, and we don't get to see any real, great games come out for it in quite some time. Obviously, there's still the New Order. I think that's the title. That's being made by the guys who made Titanfall.
Yeah.
So that has hype. That's 2019. EA, though, twiddling their thumbs, maybe they're redesigning what they want to make this game, what this game's going to be. A lot of rumors about it trying to come out around the time of new next-gen consoles. But to me, it just sounds like they can't pick a direction and stick with it. Like, they knew early on whatever the first iteration of it was not it. And they're like, all right, let's try this one. And again, the talks where it was still early development. That means they had not even come together. They were still locking on that core concept, the core pieces of gameplay. They had some storyboards worked out, but they were still moving pieces around. So with that being said, do you think we're ever going to get a good Star Wars? Do you think we're ever going to get a Star Wars game from EA?
Yes.
And if we do, is it going to be good quality?
No. So here's what I'm thinking. Yes, we will get one because the deal that's currently in place, if I'm not mistaken, from where sources that I've seen online, it started in 2013. To keep the rights for Star Wars, they have to do a game every few years. So they have to do one more before 2023. It's like a 10-year window.
Battlefront was such a success. We should do that again.
Exactly. And the article I'm looking at is from Jason Schreier of Kotaku. And it's interesting because he had 2 updates that literally happened almost back to back on his article, which the first one happened, he wrote the article on Tuesday, 7 o'clock. 3 hours later, had this update. Since the publication of this article, I talked to several more people familiar with EA Vancouver's now canceled open world Star Wars game. This project, which was codenamed Orca, was very early in development and would improve playing as a scoundrel or bounty hunter who could explore various open world planets and work with different factions within the Star Wars universe. The EA's top decision makers looked at their roadmap, and the few years, they decided that they needed something earlier than the planned release date for Orca, according to 2 people familiar with what happened. So they canceled Orca in favor of a smaller scale Star Wars project that is now being aimed for sooner, more like late 2020. Maybe that's a Star Wars game that you had mentioned. Maybe it's something to compete with that, which also happens to be around the same time as I've heard next-gen consoles will launch.
Yep.
To EA's credit, those people said the publisher did not lay anyone off as part of this transition. This news comes at a time of cost-cutting across the industry, blah, blah, blah. And then EA gave them a statement the next day that said there's been speculation overnight about one of our Star Wars projects as a natural part of the creative process. The great work by our team in Vancouver continues and will evolve into future Star Wars content and games. We're fully committed, blah, blah, blah.
We're going to recycle the scraps.
Here's what I think. And I am totally on the same boat as today I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily and Gary Whitta. I'm on the same mindset as him. If I'm Bob Iger, if I'm Disney, I walk into EA and I go, what do you got? Show me what you got. Have them lay on the table what they have planned right now.
Yes.
And this is what I say. So you're telling me in 2017 you had a Battlefront 2, which was horrible. In 2019 you're going to have the Fallen Order. We'll see how that goes. And now you have this canceled game. If there is either a buyout or a way out of this contract, if there is, I tell them at that point, we are backing out of this contract. Be prepared for it.
That'd be costly.
Otherwise, I am telling them, you got till 2023. If you don't make something happen that's worthwhile, we will be giving the Star Wars name to a different game studio. Basically putting it, if they can't back out, putting the buck on them, saying, hey, you better put up or shut up now. Because I feel like a part of this too is EA, there's no consequence. They've always had for as long as I can remember, have had the franchise for Star Wars. They need to know, hey, you either make some quality or we get something else. Because on the movies, Star Wars is killing it with the movies. I would say, like, putting them out, like Rogue One was phenomenal. I liked Star Wars 7. Although I had problems with what Rian Johnson did with The Last Star Wars, I didn't hate The Last Jedi. Like, it wasn't a terrible movie.
Nope.
I had fun watching that movie. So, like, Disney is doing good things with the movies. There should be games, too, that are doing the same thing. And from what I've heard with, I think it was this one that got put on hiatus and then canceled, is that apparently it was supposed to be like Star Wars Uncharted. Is what it was supposed to be like with the open world bounty hunting thing.
No, I mean, I
just want a Star Wars game, Dave. That's what I want.
I want a good Star. No. Asterisk. I want a good Star Wars game.
When I say Star Wars game, I'm implying, like, I know that you can't do that. You can't assume. But like, I want one to where it's like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Because like you mentioned, we came in today. There's so much crap that you can use from this lore.
They've got an expanded. Their extended universe is a whole different story, but like just in the primary shit, that's like, yes, this is canon. We're good with all this. This is all in the Lucas, vault of this is the existence. There's a lot to work with, and then if you go hit the extended universe, there's millions of different characters, arcs, storylines. There's so many properties out there that different people have written. Hell, even a lot of the fan written stuff is fantastic at this point. Like, there are some really good quality story arcs out there, or at least ideas where you could take from there and use it towards a game. So to see a company struggle, because obviously Battlefront 2 was the greed. That was just straight up greed and stupid decisions. Tanking a game which had every right to be a fun, enjoyable game. At the time, everybody was basically like, yep, it's going to be a Star Wars, it's going to be a shooter. We're going to be able to get, the temporary time as a Sith or a Jedi. There's that fun, like, twist. It's no longer just the, like, Call of Duty, And that's what made Battlefront for Star Wars different. But instead, they shot themselves in the foot time after time after time, and to the point where no one had any patience left with them. It's like, cool, fuck you guys. I think that we're hitting that point of frustration with EA as a whole. So I think that, like you said, the New Order, that's going to be the interesting one, because I want to trust the dev company or the dev group with it, as they did do Titanfall, and I will keep giving them credit for that, because that was a unique take on, again, everybody plays shooters, everybody plays these run around high speed things. What if we drop a mech in the middle of this shit? Wouldn't that be cool, guys? And we're like, fuck yeah. So I look to them to innovate a little bit. They take what works and they tweak.
Here's what I'm going to say. And this might be a little complicated, but if I'm Disney, you know who I would give the Star Wars franchise to? Insomniac. Give it to Insomniac. Marvel gave them, or Sony gave them Spider-Man. What if Disney, I know that Spider-Man is yes, he's usable in the MCU because of their deal, but he's a Sony property. What if Disney said, hey, Insomniac, we're going to throw enough money your way to where we're not going to take away from your Spider-Man thing, because Disney will realize that, yes, that's making Sony money, but as long as Spider-Man is relevant, that helps out their movies as well right now because of their deal. We're going to throw enough money at you to where you can create your own division to build us a Star Wars game. A la like you did. Not the exact same thing, but hey, you guys have shown you guys know what to do to make a really good game and make it feel true to what that character or what that property is. We're going to give you a shot. Come at us with a Star Wars game and have an Insomniac Star Wars game that's you can make it open world, but you don't really have to. Like, I wouldn't be mad if we didn't get an open world Star Wars game, and if it was like Spider-Man where it was one story all the way through with some DLC.
You'd be cool with a story-driven Star Wars game?
As long as it's a great game, yeah, I'm happy. Like, at this point, I just want a
I'm just
great
curious to what
amazing,
people, like, what do people want? Because Battlefront 2 obviously missed the mark. So what do people want out of a new Star Wars game?
And that's the thing where I feel like a while ago, the whole thing was, I want to choose between Sith and Jedi.
Yeah,
but
Dark and the Light.
No one really did it right. So, like, if you can do that right and give it to
Force
me,
Unleashed 2?
then I would like that. But it's like, it's got to be, it can't be like, see, and that's the thing with a Star Wars game. Like, I don't know exactly what I would want. I just want it to be good yet great. Like, if you gave me an open world one where I could choose between being a Jedi or a Sith, the dark or the light, then yeah, I would be fine with that. As long as it's great to amazing. Like, that's where my bar
KOTOR.
is.
Just fucking remake
Basically.
KOTOR. Just remake KOTOR. That's the lesson of this whole episode. Remake KOTOR.
But I wouldn't be mad with a single-player game for Star Wars.
People aren't in for originals. You know what we're doing right now? We're remaking everything. Everything that was old, fuck it, we're lazy. Let's make a new one. Nostalgia is the key
WoW
right
Vanilla.
now. WoW Vanilla. Literally, all of Disney properties are being remade right now. They're like, fuck new properties.
You're talking about like the animated movies going live action.
Yep. We got Cinderella. We got Lion King. We got every single one of those.
That Lion King movie going to be lit though.
I expect it to be. I'm going to go back and listen to Little Dicky rap about Lion King to get myself prepped for it. If you got time, do it.
It's a great listen.
Just going to plug Little Dicky for no reason. I just love him. And my point being, go with what works at this point. You guys are struggling to find your groove again. And after such a huge whiff in a game of Battlefront 2, go to KOTOR. Who owns the rights to KOTOR? I'm going to look it up. KOTOR. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. BioWare developed KOTOR.
Were you trying to hum
Dun, dun,
along some
dun,
Star
dun,
Wars?
dun, 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 dun.
I'm like, he's trying, but his brain's looking to search.
I know. My brain is not.
The last KOTOR game was BioWare. The developers.
Yeah, that's what I said. BioWare.
Okay.
So yeah, all you gotta do is figure out how to get the licensing to it, and there you go. You're all set.
Dave's like, just give me KOTOR.
Solves problems. Solves all the problems. That's what we did here, Ricky.
I'm looking to see, does BioWare have any that are in development right now? Anthem. I'm an idiot.
I was waiting. Like, go back and watch this video because I just leaned back and I'm like, okay.
They had Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
And then
Which had
was
horrible mouth
facial.
the faces were off, but the mouth to voices were also terrible. It really took you out of it.
I'm trying to think. The last BioWare game that I played, because I didn't play the Mass Effects.
Yeah. Good stories. A lot of them. Good stories.
Yeah. You know what? I've never played a BioWare game.
Dang.
That's what because I just looked at all the ones they developed. Yeah, but after Anthem, they've got a Dragon Age game. That's going to be
Dragon
the next
Age is
thing
usually
they
pretty fun.
develop.
So no, you have EA call up BioWare, buy the rights, spend billions of dollars. You've got Disney, you got the mouse back in you. Like, let's make it happen.
Even that, I would be happy with. Like, give me. But the moral of the story is Disney. Take it away from EA. They have proven they can't do anything with it. So why waste your time?
Well, they just pooped the bed a little bit, and I think we're more demanding. We want it now, and I'm getting a little impatient. So that'll do it for episode 28 of Tool to Game. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to support us even more, check us out on Patreon. If you hit that $10 tier, you can join us or any other of the podcasts on Most Valuable Podcasts here.
We're going to
for
have
an
Eric
episode.
on a Patreon podcast.
Eric's going to be on Patreon. We're going to record that in just 2 days. And I'm super excited to talk to him. Be my first time, right? He's
For him?
Yeah,
He'll
first
first
time
time
talking
on a podcast for Eric.
So that'd be dope. But yeah, thank you so much. I've been your host, Dave Oster. That's Ricky Widmer. Mark Rubber, eventually, will be joining us. We'll see you next time.